Yo, yo, what's good? Welcome back, everybody, to another wonderful episode of MLB with Nate the Great, hosted by the Virtual Man Cave Entertainment. Yo, you see the crew right now. We got our good brother Nate the Great right there. You see the homie D Rigger. And last but not least, you got me, brother Jay from around the way. What's good, family, man? How y'all doing, man?
Yo,
What's
we
happening
good.
after a little
We
3 week
good.
hiatus?
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. You know what I'm saying? We took some time off, had to get things resituated. Now we back with season 2, episode 1. You know what I'm saying? It's all love and fun. Well, for some of us, not everybody.
Right, I'm still on the same season. I got a couple more weeks left. We'll say that for the later shows.
That's what we doing. That's what we doing here. We starting early. We start,
Innuendo. Innuendo is already being applied to the joint. I like it. I like it.
whatever,
Innuendo.
whatever, man. I don't care.
Word.
That, man.
Word. Word.
That ain't
Ba-
cool. That ain't cool.
Baseball is my favorite sport. I like to run up and down. They ain't got no court.
Yeah, see, that's why you get for that slander. That's why your camera fell, bro.
I can't rainfall. I'm trying to do something else on the side as well.
Oh, he trying
Yeah,
to put that. He trying to put that filter in. He trying to get that Yankee head, that round
listen.
Yankee head on there, so he can make it look like he a Yankee, man. I'm telling you.
As you can see, Nate over there struggling with technical difficulties, y'all. So you see the cash app down below, $ virtual man cave, yo. Hit us up, hook us up with some donations so we can get Nate some proper equipment so his camera's not falling. And he's talking about, yo, I was doing something else because I don't appreciate those early innuendos and jabs. You know what I'm saying? You throwing at my team, but it's whatever, yo. You know what I
We
mean?
ain't throw no jabs. We just giving an observation.
Damn, son, you got slapped early and knocked out
That's
in the
what.
first couple. It wasn't even around. Your ass didn't even make it.
You know
That's
what? We're not gonna
terrible.
do that. We're gonna show this first clip right here. Okay, this is how we gonna start
Hold
the
on.
show.
Let me give. Wait. What is that? What week are you looking at, Jay? Because I know that's an old clip.
That's a whole clip right there.
Definitely. So in this week's edition, which is going to be a little different, what we're going to do is we're first going to show highlights from. We're going to show a couple highlight videos from each wild card round. So Jay, if you started from the bottom, it should start with no. If you start from the top, it should start with the American League wild card series. And we're going to start there: Yankees versus Red Sox and Detroit Tigers versus Cleveland Guardians.
All right.
Two good series.
Hmm.
Wait, you said? Oh, nah. I'm starting
Those
from
were
the
nice
top.
matchups. Those were
Yeah, that's what you're supposed
that
to
was a
do.
nice
This one
matchup.
right here. Got you.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, American League, the American League first.
1-2 from Crochet. He in that clubhouse. Little misses.
Damn,
He
that brother
got
was
him.
dealing.
Wells. He's
He was
gone.
dealing in game one, wasn't he?
That's called strike 3. Crochet's night over. 11 strikeouts. Chapman coming in.
that boy was putting in work.
He was
That boy
Garrett
was
Crochet.
putting in work in game one.
Yeah, he's been an ace all season long. I mean, lights out. Garrett Crochet pitched a great game in Game One in Boston's comeback victory over the New York Yankees in that Game One.
Who won that first game?
Red
The
Sox.
Red Sox. And then, and then, and then I think the ghost of the Bronx Bombers came out and got them fools fired up. He said, "I hit that to your mama. I hit that to your mama. That's your mama's ball. That's your mama's ball."
That's Anthony Volpe starting the momentum with a home run. And Jay, you could just keep rolling on with the videos. I'm just trying to give a little highlights for each one before I actually break down each series.
That was an eye home run. It was eye. It wasn't nothing. Right. It looked like he was kind of late on a swing, but I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna play the next video.
Shit, a late ball goes right field, brother. That shit was as late as it want to be. It was fair though. You wanna know how I know? Because he was pointing at that man. He said, "Yo, mama, I told you I was hitting that to your mama. I hit it to her. She got that bitch."
A high chopper over the mound. Stewart here comes Martinez to the plate. He is out. Close play. Yeah, his hands in there.
Oh, he's in there.
You got to have the right mindset as a runner. They're very good and skilled at bases.
And the call is overturned. And Cleveland has tied the game at 1.
I ain't going front. I believe in them sliding gloves now. Just to face that one play. If he would have did that barehanded, he would have lost all. He would have came back like this.
I ain't different out of that.
He came back with some nuts. That was nothing short but amazing right there. I ain't gonna hold you. You know me, I'm against the batting gloves.
He was gonna come back as the claw, bro. He was literally gonna come back as the
Had a whole nub.
Oh, squirted right up too. Squirted right up too.
Damn.
Dang.
Squirted right up too. Coming right.
I'm saying they don't got
Protection.
plexiglass. Like that sounds like it was real glass. They ain't got no plexiglass, nothing, some unbreakable glass.
You know, there's a whole net around everything other than the camera light and the camera lens. Right there behind home plate. There's everything else is covered, Jay. It's a box as big as the damn iPhone. It's not big at all. And that motherfucker fit right up in there. It fit right. He hit that.
You got to think about the odds of how
right
often you would actually hit a camera lens.
I mean, I know that's 1 in a million, but I'm gonna make sure my one is covered for that million. That's crazy.
They replace that easy. They got the money for it.
With the shadow, sunball.
Well, that's coming
and then it's in there. Boom, fastball. Just tucked his hands in so perfect. And the noise right off the bat, you knew it had a chance. The wind wasn't holding that up. Again, fastball.
Damn, he crushed that.
Roquero's got to be feeling really good. So this guard.
That's a great. To me, that's a great catcher's view of seeing how they hit the ball, especially a ball that goes from the sun into the shade.
Word.
That's the umpire view. That was a nice shot.
Yeah, that's
for
crazy,
him to say,
man.
But he stayed focused though. He knew where he had to have his bat. He hit that. Yeah, that was perfect hand-eye coordination right there, bro. And that ball hit that bat. That bat hit that ball on the solid part of the end of that bat. That motherfucker cracked that.
PR es otra cosa. Fernando Cruz.
Yo, man, tell him we
giving his team a chance.
Over there, man, button up your top button.
The bottom of the seventh. Here we go. PR es otra cosa.
Might be on the substance.
First of all, I laughed and said he might be playing the wrong sport.
He need to be playing soccer or something.
No, he need to play football or something like that. You see how he like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3".
Oh, nah.
Man, that's a little dude. You see the guy that plays right field?
I mean, compared to Judge, Judge is 6'6". I'm just saying though, 6'6", 6'7".
Judge is 6'9", bro.
2 free.
6'9".
Oh, 2 free.
Wow.
Oh, 2 free.
Yeah, I ain't gonna front. That was a good pitch.
Was that shitter?
Now that was free, And that was a big debate about game one, about Boone taking Freed out when Freed was dealing during that time. Of course, they did pitch count and such forth. You know, there were some debates about saying that the upper management is dictating how Aaron Boone coaches the game. He shouldn't have took Freed out, and then his replacement didn't make any sense either, going with Luke Weaver instead of going with Fernando Cruz, who you saw in the previous video.
He swings and hits it hard to right. And
God.
back, and the Yankees are on the board. A 2-run home run off Bayo to get it started. The kid from Cohasset, Massachusetts, steps on home and lives out a dream.
Yeah, good hit, kid. Good hit.
Fuck yeah.
It was a big problem about him being sidelined on the bench for game one, and then you know, he hit very well, and you know, he started that spark in game two, so they kept him in for game three as well.
I mean, that was a good hit. I'll give credit where credit's due.
Game three had nothing to do with anything except this cat that's pitching.
Back, gone.
Oh, this is still game two.
Trevor's storybook season continues with a game-tying solo shot. And just like that, it's 3-3. Swing and a drop.
That was pretty decent.
Yeah, from Trevor Story, you know, who kind of looked like the Trevor Story back in Colorado when he was an All-Star. You know, giving his best out there against the for the Red Sox. You know, that game two was a solid game, a very close game in game two, a little bit better than game three was.
He got him, and the Red Sox rally from behind and take game one of this wild card 3-1.
How about Aroldis Chapman? Bases loaded, no outs, strikeout, weak fly ball to right, and strikeout again, and then the patented pose to put the Red Sox up 1-0.
Red Sox base running set them up. Sogard's base running set up their inning. Chapman at the end. Amazing. Crochet. Professional outing tonight from Garrett Crochet.
In the end, we talk about execution. Alex Cora's game.
And that was Aroldis Chapman in the game one, the former Yankee, who is having one of his best seasons ever, actually. One of his best seasons in years, and he's in great condition, as you can see. I follow him on Instagram. He has great conditioning as far as exercise too, especially with his legs, his leg workout. And the last 2 or 3 years, he was kind of overweight, a little out of shape. He wasn't the Trotman that we know, but this year has been one of his best years in a few years.
Wow, did you just call him fat, yo?
He was a little out of shape. That's what I'm saying. He gained a little bit of weight.
Did he go? Yes, he did. There. A dirty dozen for Schlittler as Gonzalez is gone.
I ain't going front. That was kind of crazy.
That was work.
So that was Cam Schlitter who struck out 11. I think he struck out 12. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he struck out 12. Sorry,
12
against the Boston Red Sox in a game 3 for a young rookie coming into a tense situation like that. He was poised during the entire game. You would have never known he was a rookie the way he played it. And I know that meant that was big for him as a Massachusetts, as a born and raised Massachusetts native, going up against probably the local Red Sox and going out there and dealing the entire game for game 3. And shout out to, and I'll give props to Aaron Boone for actually going old school and let him stay in the game and give him a chance to go back in instead of doing the way they play baseball now, where they go by the numbers. You had a lot of pitchers in other games like the Padres game series where pitchers were only throwing 16 pitches and then was taken out right after that.
Dang, just 16 and you sitting down for the day?
You had people getting pulled after the second inning.
That's crazy. They making too much money, man. You better go to work, yo.
Where it's at right now.
Hey, pause. Pause. And I'm not at the National League yet. So just to summarize for the American League Series, which as you saw, both series went to the final 3 games. The New York Yankees prevailing over the Boston Red Sox, and the Detroit Tigers prevailing over the Cleveland Guardians. We'll look at the full setup for the next round of matchups. Overall, I wanted to get my thoughts on the series. I think and Uncle, I'd like to hear your thoughts too for the Detroit Tigers. Matter of fact, Uncle, you can go first. What was your take on whatever series that you watched during that wild card in the American League? We're just talking American League right now.
I didn't catch all of the games for the Guardians and the Tigers, but I know that watching both of them from the clips that I saw, I have to say this. I finally saw postseason postseason baseball, and there's a whole big difference, and there's a whole different level. I'm very happy that I saw the 2 teams that I thought should have got out of it. They did. I was going for the Yankees, and I felt like Detroit had just a better pitching staff than Cleveland's, even though Cleveland had played a really good season this year. So it worked out, and big bats prevailed when they needed to. In the case for the Yankees, hey, I haven't seen a pitching. I haven't seen anybody pitch like that for at least 5 years. I gotta admit, to put them in that position and to win, that was good. So what I'm hoping for now is just that their bats stay alive. 3 runs is good, but 3 runs is not going to win your game. 4 runs, that's probably a good number to stick around. 4 runs is a pretty good, decent number. Um, but what I did see was a lot of good base running, a lot of good plays, and a lot of good pitching. Finally, like you said, some crazy decisions being made by the managers, but in the end, I think they realize we got to let these fools play because we can't, I don't want to mess it. Aaron Boone knows everything is on the line for him. I'm sorry. He got to do every move he makes. He better make good because yeah, they might have a drone out after him in New York. He can't mess up. So
Drone.
a drone. Yes, a drone. Somebody coming from right field bringing something down on him if he mess up this year. I swear they are. They ain't gonna let him leave. They not gonna let him leave the stadium this year. He gonna have to produce. They got too many. I'm telling you, bro. They look like they retooled. I was kind of worried about them in the middle of the year, toward the end of the season, but they held on. I think they should have won the division. You know what I'm saying? They had that little, in late August, early September, they had that swoon.
Mhm.
So that kind of messed them up. They should have won the division. I think they should have been the number 1, definitely near the number 2 spot for them. But you can't get number 2 unless you win the division. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that was that issue. And then for Detroit, hey, they have been playing consistent baseball. I see them like I saw, not as good as Houston, but the last couple of years, Detroit baseball has been pretty much a good, solid thing to watch. And they made it, these last 2 years, they've been looking pretty good. So it was good to see them back in there too. Good for the Guardians. I was happy for Cleveland. I think that was another team we needed to see. But I guess the teams that we'll get to see now coming in there, the Jays and the Mariners are going to really be something to watch. So let's see what happens on that side.
Right. Right. Thanks Unc, for that. The main thing what I take is from the Yankee series. We'll start with that since that's the last one talked about. Game 1, you should have won that game. It was a fault. They kind of took a step back. Not sure why Boone decided to sit Jazz Chisholm, which didn't make any sense at all. Not going with Jazz. You got a 30 for 30 guy in there. It just didn't make any sense. Max Fried, I know some people say about the pitch count, he was at 102 pitches, but he still was pitching pretty well. He had 1 or 2 innings where he pitched up more than 20 pitches, but he was still pitching very well. So I thought that you kind of go with him. I know analytics a lot of times plays a part in certain decisions, but for me, I expect more out of coaches like Boone or like say even Craig Counsell in Chicago. Guys who played the game to where a lot of times it's more based off of instincts than any numbers. And I'll reference the 2019 World Series where the Houston Astros are playing against the Washington Nationals. Now, analytics would have told you Ryan Zimmerman was supposed to have been pulled at one point in the game near the end. But Dave Martinez decided to stay with him. And what did Zimmerman do? Zimmerman homered to right field. They took the lead. The Nationals went on to win their first ever championship. Baseball is not as complex as they try to make it seem like. It is a chess. It is definitely a game of chess, and at all times. But in the playoffs, it's heightened chess. But sometimes you just got to let your players go because it's always an unsung hero. I can even reference when Raul Ibanez was an unthought of hero for the Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles, hitting a game tying home run that took it in the extra innings, and then hitting the walk off home run. Unexpected. Nobody would have had Raul Ibanez doing that. So I think with the Yankees, don't overcoach, don't overthink. You got your guys, you got your main starters. You go with them the rest of the way. But your pitching, you trust in your pitching. The pitching is still a little shaky in that bullpen. Fernando Cruz, sorry. Fernando Cruz has shown some stability. He can get a little rocky sometimes, get 1 or 2, but he's shown he can pitch out of those situations. Luke Weaver, unfortunately, he's been struggling a little bit. He's starting to actually show the Luke Weaver that the St. Louis Cardinal fans remember from the last year, 2 to 3 years that he was with St. Louis. He's been a little shaky. Devin Williams played better at the end of August and part of September. Once he got him out of that closer role on a nightly basis. But I think right now David Bednar, who you picked up from Pittsburgh, is your best bet as your closer right now. Right now you go Weaver, Williams, and not in that same order, but Williams. You got Cruz, Weaver, Williams as you're rotating them last 2 to 3 innings, and then you got Bednar to close it out. And I think that's what you go with right now, as far as that's concerned with the Yankees. That's your core of your bullpen. As far as Cleveland and Detroit hung on by a nail. Truthfully, to me, that game 3 doesn't speak to the rest of the series and Detroit going down the stretch. After the All-Star break, Detroit had a big letdown. Team got off to a rocky start. They were losing they lost. They got swept by Toronto. They lost to a team that they shouldn't have been losing to. Cleveland was dead in the water. Cleveland was pretty much a role reversal. Cleveland was the top team last year, and Detroit was dead in the water. And Detroit came back, made the playoffs, and then won the wild card round. Now it's the same way with Cleveland. I'll tell you where I think the turning point was in their series. Game 1, Jose Ramirez hit a shot, and then you got a pitch, the ball that goes past him first. Ramirez makes it all the way to third base with no outs. Next batter up flies out. Then after that, Ramirez, I don't know why. As a veteran, you got to know better. There's a chopper that goes right back to the pitcher, and Ramirez was breaking for home. Ramirez gets caught in the rundown, and he's tagged out. Everybody knows you don't break for home unless that ball passes that pitcher if it's going right back up the middle.
Or that pitcher turns and commits to the throw. You don't go until that pitcher commits. You can't do anything until he commits. Especially if he's the fielder. If he's fielded it, you definitely wait.
Well, see, if he commits the first, Ramirez doesn't go. Ramirez got a little speed, but he ain't Ellie De La Cruz speed. So
you got to be bouncing off that pad. You got to be bouncing. You got to be sitting there 5 step off the bag. You can get back before that dude flings that ball over there. You just got to be giving him choices. Are you going to get the out, or are you going to get me?
But I'm saying he wouldn't have made that advance towards home if he made the throw to first. So I think he stays at third. The next batter comes up. You never know what would happen, but you still have a runner in scoring position where the pitcher has to be mindful of what he throws.
Yeah, you don't give up the possible run. That's right. You don't give up the possible run.
Then you go into game 3, down 6-1 in the 8th inning. Ramirez up the bat brings in 2. Now it could be off of a play where the first baseman throws it to the pitcher and the pitcher misses it. It rolls off. Ramirez he's always an aggressive runner, but in that situation when you're down by that much, you don't break the second. And the bad thing about it was Ramirez jogged to second partially. It wasn't until he saw that he was making that throw to second he decided to try to speed up and slide. Had he ran hard the entire way, he would have made that
He'd
play at
been in
second base.
there. He'd have been in
And
there. Yep.
Cleveland still had a fighting chance. And so that was a big part of that as well. Detroit did the small things, and they're primed and ready now. And for them to be the number 1 seed the entire season, I mean most of the season, especially in the American League, and to now be going into the division series as the number 6 seed, just as a testament with Toronto being the number 1 seed and Seattle being the number 2 seed. Detroit should have been that 1 seed, but I think that when they had that slide right after the All-Star break, that was just the beginning. So they hung on just enough to make the playoffs, but they still got a talented team with a depth where they got strong depth in their bullpen and with their hitters on one side. So I think it's going to be an interesting series, and I want to talk more about that later. And Jay, if you now you can move on to the National League series highlights, which are from the Los Angeles Dodgers, who were the 3 seed against the number 6 seed Cincinnati Reds, and the number 4 seed Chicago Cubs against the San Diego Padres.
What's out right now?
Drilling up center field, Suzuki. He rips it through the Wrigley wind into the brilliant sunshine, and Suzuki ties the score in game 1 of the wild card series.
Where it's at right now.
And that's Seiya Suzuki for the Chicago Cubs. Hitting a homer. He was phenomenal during this wild card series.
Palencia on phase 2, 3, 4. It's a one-hopper to a sliding Swanson. He does it again! You shall not pass! And Merrill grounds the ball to shortstop. Swanson to the bag. Swanson to first. Swanson to the dugout. He's everywhere.
He's like a water bug out there is what he is, man.
Daniel Palencia.
That's Dansby Swanson showing off his glove.
That's because he's wearing number 7.
On more than one occasion for the Chicago Cubs. Good to see him playing over at short. He played short, then he played second as well, but he was showing off his glove during that time. Making some crucial defensive plays.
Machado cracks the first pitch to deep left field. Ian Happ will watch it go. Manny Machado destroys a first pitch splitter. The Cubs do not turn to the bullpen, and Machado hits it over the bullpen. 3-0 San Diego.
And what do we talk about coming into this game? It's got to be the dudes. And for the Padres, it is Tatis, it is Machado. I give Tatis a ton of credit for taking the walk, something he could not do yesterday, chasing pitches outside the zone to get on base.
All right. I see you, boy.
Yeah, Manny Machado, one of the key players of San Diego, coming through with a home run. Wasn't a lot of big time offense from him or Fernando Tatis, which I was hoping for, but during that moment at the time, he came through clutch.
Hold on. All right, Tommy Yotomoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
His American name is Tommy.
Striking out Ellie De La Cruz. He pitched a great game.
He looked like his name was Tommy. My bad.
Swing and a line drive. Ripped. Right field. Back. Gone. Lead off over. Shohei Ohtani, a low liner over the right field fence. And just like that, the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. Shohei explodes immediately.
Okay. I see whoever's recording the games over there in Chicago. They got some good. I mean, not Chicago. Whatchamacallit. They got some good cameras. LA. They got some good cameras over there. Everything look like it's in 6K.
Well, that's the cinematic view that they try to give out, you know.
That's drilled left field. That's back and it's Teoscar Hernandez unloads, and the Dodgers have a 4-0 lead.
All right.
Teoscar Hernandez from the Los Angeles Dodgers with another go-ahead home run. Dodgers played a really good series during this. I'm not gonna go too much into that until we're done with the highlights, but they were rolling at that time during that game.
Here we go.
It's a plan.
I don't know if you can overturn that.
Here we go.
So what they rule that, Nate?
He was, if I'm not mistaken, he was safe.
Okay. They better say he was safe.
It was very close
to the runner.
And if there's not enough evidence, if not enough evidence to turn it over, you know.
First pitch swinging from the end of the center. Pete Armstrong on a 3-hit day. Makes the catch. The Chicago Cubs are going to head up 94. They move on to Milwaukee and the National League Division Series. First pitch swinging from.
He was hyped.
Yes, as you see, the Chicago Cubs clinched the division against the San Diego Padres. Cubs came out and they played, and they made the necessary hits when they needed to.
I don't even know what they were singing. It was corny.
It's called Go Cubs Go.
It was whack. Whack. I was mad whack.
Jay, don't be like that.
Oh, I'm like that. I was fooling you. We're not gonna sit there and act like it was hype. Remember, Nate, you the one who non-biased over here. I'm telling the truth. That was whack.
It's hard to throw any bias when your team is not, you know what?
Sunglasses.
Whatever, Nate.
You know what's crazy?
People going like
that
a dog in sunglasses.
That dog looks like, you know something? I am the coolest motherfucker.
That dog probably weighs like 80 pounds, yo. I don't even know why he's trying to hold that dog up. He's bugging.
Because that's his baby, yo. Can't you tell? That's his baby.
My dog is my best friend too, but I'm not holding my dog up like that.
You don't
You bugging.
understand. You don't understand. That's LA. They don't even walk upstairs. They get carried. Them fools
That's
don't.
crazy.
They don't get on escalators. That's the shit. They be in malls being held.
Man, got him fooled.
That was Blake Snell having a great game against the Cincinnati Reds, the young Cincinnati Reds team. As you know, like I said, the Dodgers did sweep that series 2 games to nothing. Out of two, they won 2 out of 3 against the young upstart Cincinnati Reds. Is that the last clip?
Yeah, that was the last clip.
Okay, yeah. So that's your wrap up of the wild card series between the teams that between those teams in the wild card round. We got now we're moving on to the division series. What I will say about that series first, because same thing. LA and Cincinnati, it was just a better team, a more experienced team, a more overpowering team who had more weapons at their disposal, beating a young upstart team like the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati got some young talent there, especially like the Hunter Greens of the world on that team. As far as start pitching, they're starting to build pitching, and they could build players without just becoming like one of them farm systems that sends players to other teams afterwards. Of course, you got L.A. De La Cruz on the team, Tyler Stevenson, yeah, Nick Martins that's came along on that team. They've Cincinnati's got some talent out there, and if they just stick to it and just add a little piece here there, they could possibly be a strong contender in the next couple of years. So, of course, they were dead in the water. They was a team that was dead in the water, but they fought and they battled as long as they could, and they hung on to that, and they won that last third wild card spot. It took the last day for them to win that. But this is a learning experience for this young team, I believe. To go up against the juggernaut, which is the LA Dodgers, who, even though they are the defending champions from last year, are not the top seed. As of course that goes to the Philadelphia Phillies. The Dodgers are actually, excuse me, the Dodgers are ranked in this series as well as the number, actually is the number 8, the number 3 seed. Um,
The Mets are not in the playoffs, so I don't care.
and then the next series, Chicago versus San Diego. San Diego Padres. I expected a lot more from them. The bats just were silent pretty much most majority of that series. Besides, like I said, the Manny Machado home run, which you saw, Fernando Tatis didn't really do a lot. Um, Jackson Merrill played okay, but like with the pitching, Dylan Cease pitched a really good game, but for some reason they took him out early. I think maybe San Diego overcoached themselves a little bit with a lot of the early polls they did. I know Game 3 was, every pitcher is available, all hands on deck. You Darvish got in trouble early on during that game, but and I understand maybe you want to pull him because you didn't want the lead to get too far out. But then after that, you had guys like Michael King and others that came in there and you only gave them 14, 16 pitches. They maybe faced 2 batters, maybe one inning, and then they were gone after that. I think you didn't give a chance for any pitchers to get in a rhythm, and there was too many pitchers changing up. So, Chicago took advantage of that, and they took care of home. You got with guys like Michael Bush making clutch home runs, Nico Homer. You had PCA Pete Crow Armstrong, one of my shining stars, by the way. Um, he also was playing very well. So Kyle Tucker, who kind of got out of a funk because Kyle Tucker was going through a real serious slump going into the playoffs. The last maybe 2 months or so, he was not the Kyle Tucker that we remember from the Houston Astro days. But he started to pull it around. He got a couple good hits during the series. So it's a big win for the Chicago Cubs as they're going to move on to their next one. I'm going to let Unc pass it on first before we talk about the division series.
The East, the NL is not my favorite side of the baseball pad, but What I am gonna say is that you got the best over there playing, and again, I think that right now, even though they are the 3 seed, I think honestly the Dodgers are probably the team that everybody is going to watch in the NL right now. I still think that with their playoff experiences over the last 5 years, that puts them in a pretty good position. Going up against a Philly squad that really is not, they haven't had the greatest of postseason. So I'm kind of looking at this one as being David versus Goliath here, and they're gonna have to put a big fight in. Philly gonna have to do a lot of work to get by the Dodgers this time. Now, classic Milwaukee versus Cubs. This is gonna be a good series. This is gonna be pretty good. I expect the Brewers to pull this out, but I wouldn't give much doubt to seeing a seven. Are they going 5 or 7 in the next series?
It's 5 for the division series.
It's 5, right? This is going to be
Yeah.
a 5 game series. This is going to be a 5 game series. Who do I expect to pull it out? I really think the Brewers will, because they just had just a stronger pitching staff all season long, and they've held it together. Excuse me. they they've been pretty solid all season long. So I'm gonna give that series, but just by a game. It'll be a 3-2 series, but it will be the Brewers pulling it out. So, um, but I'm picking the Dodgers to go out of the NL. That's who I'm seeing it right now. I can see that's gonna be a pretty good. That's gonna be a pretty good. This week should be pretty good with baseball in it for these games coming around the corner.
Okay. What you got for the American League?
I like both setups, but I would like to see Seattle versus the Yankees. I would like to see Seattle. I think this is something I think we owe Seattle. I think the Yankees owe Seattle one. God damn it. You know what I'm saying? I think they could go in there. And truth be told, I think it'll be a louder. I think it'll be loud in the Kingdom then. You know what I'm saying? I think it. I think it would be something. It'll be sightly. I like the West Coast versus the East Coast thing. As a matter of fact, that is one of my. I think that's the way it should always set up, where you got to go across the country, different time zones, and start whacking on one another. That's the good thing about the AL. We got good cross country rivalries, and this is the one that I want to see. I would like. Jays ain't gonna give up shit. Right? Don't get me wrong. The Jays are not gonna give up anything because they're tired of being the Yankees fucking put boy. They always behind the Yankees and everything. So I'm sure that the Jays will fight, but I going with the Yankees with this one against Seattle, and then let's see how that goes. That's a pick 'em. I'll go over there. But over in the NL, I see it as the Dodgers versus the against the Brewers, and the Dodgers pulling it out in 6. So if we got it again, I think it would be Yankees and Dodgers one more again.
Okay. I could go with that. Jay,
Hmm.
even with your bias feelings, I'm gonna throw it out to you. I'm gonna throw an option out to you. Out of all these games, even though you haven't watched any, I hope you do tune into a few during this time. What would you say without the Mets bias? We know who you roll with.
I'm gonna be
What
real.
would
I'm
you?
gonna be real with you, right? It is hard. I'm gonna be totally honest. Um, like I'm one of those diehard. I bleed blue and orange for the Mets. I literally grew up down the block from Shea Stadium. So this one is hard. Like I probably won't watch any baseball until the World Series.
That's good.
Um, I'm keeping it real with you.
Nobody will fault you for that, Jay. We all understand.
Yeah, I won't vote you for that.
Man, because
Like I
I'm a
really,
Yankee fan. I'm a Yankee fan, and I told you once they're gone, there is no more baseball. Once
Right.
they're not making it, you don't watch no more. I don't care. Right.
And I'll be real with you. I was struggling through the Boston and Yankee series because, like, on one hand, it's like, I want New York to beat Boston because I just don't like Boston because I'm from New York. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck
That's just the
Boston.
rules.
That's right.
But
Everybody says it. Fuck Boston.
at the same time, I don't like the Yankees either just because they from New York and I'm a Mets fan. So that I was struggling with that one. But overall, I'm glad that that the Yankees won. As I pull up coming up for the next round, I'll give my whatchamacallit, my suggestions or my guesstimates of who's going advance. So you say we got the Tigers versus the Mariners. I'm gonna go with the Mariners just because Ken Griffey Jr. played with them many eons ago, so I'm just gonna rock with them. Yankees versus the Blue Jays. Yeah, I'm from New York. Even though I don't like them, I'm gonna rock with New York. Then we're gonna go over there to the National League. LA or the Phillies. You know it'll never be the Phillies. Just because they the Mets big rivals. So LA, I hope you win. Cubs versus the what was that? The Padres,
The Brewers.
the
Cubs versus
Brewers.
the Brewers.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know who they were. So yeah, let's go Cubs. And then between LA and the Cubs, I don't care. So I'll just flip a coin, imaginary coin, and I'll say LA because you know what I'm saying. I got my head like the West Coast, West Side. Um, and then back to the American League, it's New York. So overall, I'm gonna have to pick. It's gonna be New York versus LA, and then New York is going home with the chip in 5.
They got to.
New York in
They
5.
can't lose another one to LA, yo. Two is enough. You know what I'm saying? You can't lose three in a row to the damn Dodgers, bro. It can't. It ain't supposed to happen. That
Yep.
I'm
Forget what the
sorry. That's I'm sorry. That's yo, bro. For as many times I remember us going against them during them early championship years, the Chris Chambliss and the Thurman, bro, no.
Hmm.
And listen, I hate the Dodgers. I live in there. I'm from LA. I wouldn't cheer for the Dodgers, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Magic Johnson did a lot of work to get that team back to where it was supposed to be, back in its championship form. These last 5 to 6 years for the Dodgers have been something amazing. And again, with the addition with Shohei Ohtani coming over from the Angels and them getting them with Mookie Betts out there, and they've had a lineup for the last couple of years. They've had an all-star lineup. So Freddie Freeman. I mean, you name it, they've had it. And kudos to Dave Roberts for holding it together. You know what I'm saying? So I have a lot of respect for the Dodger organization now, even though they're still a little bit out of there. But for them to be back, that's the other side. If you know the Dodgers, they got a lot of boo boo on on their ledger too. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of boo boo on their ledger. So, but all in all, for the game, it really is at the core the best that you can put out there. You got the day and night games of LA coming on, and if you could get it to happen with the fucking with Broad Street with right there, Times Square. Come on, bro. That's what you want. Hollywood versus New York. So that's what Major League Baseball needs. To tell you the truth, they like that glare, that glitz, and to have them being played games. Only thing bad is they'll be playing until November, and if it gets, we know what the weather can get like.
Well, it depends on which team who makes it to the World Series.
Now again, I'm only quoting in fronting on if it was New York and LA, because that would be quote unquote your prime time happiness. You know what I'm saying? On either end of the coast, that would be great. You get them 9 o'clock games that happen at 6 o'clock over in, you know what I'm saying, over in LA, and then you'll get a early game that'll be really early for people to watch here when they go to the West Coast. So, well, unless they play them real late, but they won't because they know they need that audience. It's a money making thing at that point.
Okay, and I appreciate each and every one of you for your intake. So
Why that sound like you was like, oh, let's get to
Yeah,
something
he
else.
said, yeah, y'all don't know nothing. He was like, yeah, basically,
That's
y'all don't
right.
know nothing. So I'm gonna give you my real
Oh,
professional
really
oh
breakdown.
good,
no,
Jay.
definitely not. No, I know Uncle watches the game. Jay, I know you watch. So I know you primarily Mets. So I can
Yeah,
understand, especially yeah, especially, and I'm glad you didn't disappoint me with your despise for Philly, because I would expect nothing less. There's no way you should be rooting for a division rival.
Word up.
In
yeah, but
LA, and you know what? The Mets and the Dodgers they had some good seat series too as well over the last 10 years. So I know it's
Hmm.
kind of hard. You got to choose the
you
two
know
of the
what it
lesser
is?
evils.
It's with the Phillies. You know what I'm saying? We don't like each other because you know what I'm saying. We close to each other, and
Nobody
we're
likes
very
Philly
similar.
either.
And we're very similar in personalities and
Nobody
demeanor
likes
and
Philly
style and
either.
stuff like that. LA, it's more of a mutual respect. You know what I'm saying? You the counterpart. It's a respect thing. So I mean, even though they both are rivals, but if I had to pick one, like you said, I'm going with LA.
I got
Ain't
you. I
nothing
got
with Phillies, man.
you. So I'm gonna give my intake, my opinion. So first, I'm gonna start with Milwaukee and Chicago. Now, the Cubs did win the series 7 games to 6. There's 13 games. They are
Right.
division rivals. Now,
Hmm.
their game one starters will be Matthew Boyd, who's for the Cubs, who's 14-8 with a 3.21 ERA with 153 strikeouts. Freddie Peralta, who's been Milwaukee's ace all season, will be starting 17-6 with an ERA of 2.70 and 204 strikeouts. Milwaukee with their team, with their rotation, the starters like got Aaron Savelli, Shota Manga. You have relievers like Andrew Kitteridge, Drew Pomeranz. You have Michael Soroka, who's also another starting pitcher, Taylor Rogers. Then they also have, in their roster, Carson Kelly at catcher, Michael Bush. We just named a couple of players for people to know some of these players. Nico Hormer, Dansby Swanson. You still have Justin Turner, the former Los Angeles Dodger, who's on that team as well. Along with, I said, Pete Armstrong, Ian Happ, Saya Suzuki, Kyle Tucker. And then you go over and you look at the Milwaukee Brewers team, who was also filled with, as I said, Freddie Peralta. You got Nestor Cortez, the former Yankee, who was traded to Milwaukee from. Well, no, I'm sorry, Nestor Cortez was traded there, but then he's also now on the San Diego Padres. But you also have Jason Myerowski, who was called up earlier this year and became one of their main stars. You got Jackson Churio. You got Christian Yelich, who's been a long-time Brewer. You've got, excuse me, you got Jake Berger. You got a great little team there that's coming along, and I think with that series is going to be tight. The problem with the Brewers is the Brewers have always been known in the playoffs. They'll play great during the season, but when they get to the playoffs, they're not. They can never get out. If it's not the first round, after that, they're just not. They're just not that team that showed and they can get to the World Series. Maybe this year is the year, but I'm gonna have to go Cub. I'm gonna go Cubs in a close 7 games against the Milwaukee Brewers because it's gonna be a really tight series. Milwaukee, I know they want to avenge last year's loss to the Mets, and we're gonna have to see if guys like because they got a bullpen with Trevor McGill, who's a former Met as well. You got Carlos Rodriguez. I, I just it's hard for me to bet for them. I would like to see them get further, but we'll have to see. As far as the other series, I'm going Phillies in 5. I think Philly finally has that team. We've already talked about who LA has. Teoscar Hernandez, Shohei Ohtani, Blake Snell, Clayton Kershaw, who's going into his final season, his great career. You got you got Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Kike Hernandez. I hope I didn't say his name twice. You got a great squad there. Murderers row, truthfully. Yamamoto as well. Um, with the Philadelphia Phillies, though, you also have a great team there. Kyle Schwarber, who's been to me like the MVP of that team all season, even when Bryce Harper was hurt. You got Jose Alvarado coming in your bullpen. You got Tanner Banks. You got Walker Buehler, who they picked up from the Red Sox after the Red Sox designated him. They picked him, so that's a great pickup for as far as playoff experience. Johan Duran. You've got Ranger Suarez, who's been great all season. Tijuan Walker as well. Lou Trevino for the David Robertson. Now you got JT as far as their bullpen. So they got a great pitching staff as far as a great depth on their team. Then when you got the offense, you're looking at JT Realmuto back there, catch Alec Bohm, Bryce Harper, Otto Kemp. You're also looking at Edmundo Sosa, who's been clutch all season. Trey Turner, who doesn't get a lot of talk, but has one of the highest batting averages in the National League and should win in that and was winning the National League batting title. Bryson Stott, got Max Kepler, Brandon Marsh. So this is going to be an interesting series, a very competitive one, I think. I'm going to go with Philadelphia in 5 in that series to upset the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I'm going to say it's going to be Philly versus Chicago in the pennant. Now over to the American League, we've got the Tigers versus the Mariners. Detroit won that series 8-5. What the one thing about the Mariners, they got Kyle Rowley, who's the big main star of that team, but you also got Julio Rodriguez, J-Rod, who they put a lot of money into about a year or two ago. You got Randy Rosarina. You got J.P. Crawford there. You got Dan Canzoni. You got George Kirby pitching, and for them starting will be George Kirby as their starting pitcher going up against Troy Melton. But I just think with the grittiness of the Detroit Tigers, they got a little bit too much for them. With that team that you've seen during this wild card, and Gleyber Torres, who used to play for the Yankees last year, has really come along real well. He's actually had a resurgence this year. Javier Baez, who a lot of people complained about for some years, he's shown his defensive prowess during the wild card round and showed that he can still get it done during big games. I think Spencer Torkelson, Danny Dingler, and Kerry Carpenter are going to have more offense than they did in this series. Dingler did homer against Cleveland, but these guys were pretty much their bats are kind of quiet during that time. But I think they're going to have a really good series. I think Detroit beats Seattle in 4.
Whoa! Really?
Yeah, I think Detroit beats Seattle in 4. I know Seattle has home field in the Kingdom. They out there in Seattle in the T-Mobile.
It's 5 games or 7 games in the divisional.
Divisional is 5. Then after that, the pennant and the World Series are going to be 7 games
4,
each.
Yeah. Each of those is 7. Okay. I'm just saying 3-1. Ooh.
I could be wrong, but
No.
that's just the way I see.
I see your. I see how you're doing your prediction. I wouldn't have never thought it would be that big.
But not a blowout 4.
Not a blowout. So you think it's going to be a close 4?
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a competitive one, but it's not going to be a blowout 4.
Okay.
Seattle's still reeling. Their last playoff experience. They're trying to shake that from when they lost to Houston, which was a big game. Because in Game 1, their coach pulled the same thing that Aaron Boone did last year in the World Series. You put in a pitcher who hadn't pitched in over a month or some weeks, and then you had him in a tight game situation. For the Yankees, it was Nestor Cortez going up against Freddie Freeman. For Seattle, it was Robbie Ray going up against Yordan Alvarez. And Yordan Alvarez took him over the right field wall for Houston to win Game 1 of that series.
And now there you go. Whoop, there it is.
And also George Corby is 10-8 for the season, 4.21 ERA with 137 strikeouts. Moving on to the American League, I'm gonna call it the American League East rivalry, which is part of the division series. The Yankees and the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays did take 8 out of 13 games against the Yankees during the regular season. They'll be going with Kevin Gausman, who's 10-11 with a 3.59 ERA and 189 strikeouts against Luis Gill, who was 4-1 with 3.32 ERA and 41 strikeouts. When you look at those numbers, you're thinking, well, but remember, Gill was hurt early part of the season, so that's why he wasn't pitching. So don't take that record as much. He has played a lot of games because he came back late in the season. Now, the thing about that series is, while the Blue Jays did win the series in the regular season, we all know, and that's from any sport, even in football, basketball, division rivals play each other. You can take the series during the regular season, but the playoffs is a whole different story. Actually, I'm going to bid a bold prediction on this one too, and I'm going to say I'm going to give the Yankees the series in 5. So, a competitive 5.
Okay.
Against the Toronto Blue Jays, and I think the Yankees are
stuff in there.
now. The Yankees have been playing kind of hot right now, but I'm also going to take it to the fact that the teams that they beat in that winning streak going into the playoffs, they weren't beating anybody important. They played the White Sox and the Orioles during that time. They weren't beating any real competitive teams at that time. The Orioles were a competitive team at one time, but they slumped back. So they weren't really beating. And this was tough because I really wanted to go with the Blue Jays originally, because my original plans for the World Series is Toronto versus Philly, rematch of the '93 World Series. And that's still technically my original pick, but I think the Yankees, the way I've seen them playing, the bullpen's starting to come along. I think they'll beat Toronto. Then they'll go up against Detroit. And I'm going to go Detroit versus Philly in the World Series.
Wow.
An unpopular decision, but Detroit versus Philly in the World Series.
Never say that. You may put on a black hoodie after that one.
I'm not even gonna smile at you about that right there. You got on
it's the baseball fan in me. I can't be worried. I know.
You got on pinstripe. Let me put my hoodie over a little bit darker, bro. It's just
all I'm saying is,
you know what I'm saying?
If my Mets was in the playoffs,
don't be biting your nails now, Nate. You can't be wearing the colors and then don't be spitting your nail out in the space. Like don't do that. How you gonna be wearing the pinstripes and then?
I'm never biased in this game. I love my Yankees always, but I'm also a baseball fan.
Jay, disclaimer.
Listen.
Disclaimer.
I got you, Unc. The words and views expressed on this platform, this station, this channel are solely those of the person that is speaking and do not represent any other entities at all. So in other words, we speak for ourselves. We do not speak for the virtual Man Cave Entertainment. We do not speak for any other member in the cave but ourselves. Okay, Unc, you good.
So we're gonna
No, Nate, no.
Right.
No.
Y'all are being biased. No.
No, I'm not gonna.
No, you being disrespectful. We might be biased, but you being disrespectful.
I ain't being disrespectful.
You being disrespectful.
Yo, matter of fact, you at least gotta turn your jersey inside out or take your hat
off.
Bro.
Wear the hat backwards. Be a rebel.
I shall not.
Oh,
I shall not.
All I'm saying is, I would never, ever speak bad against my Mets.
Ooh.
Well, see, what I'm trying to give the people here is a perspective of baseball in general.
You basing all this stuff out there on the public eye and not what you should be actually seeing.
I'm not out here like some shows that's on national TV where they sit in there trying to talk about the Yankees. And I've said this before, but they don't talk baseball any other time. And I guarantee majority of the people on there ain't watched a baseball game in the whole season. They bring baseball experts onto that TV to talk about it, to make it feel like they're talking about it. But they only cover one team for the most part. They only cover one team. They don't even really cover baseball. And I don't understand why they cover it in the first place.
I wish I knew what show you was talking about because I would air them out right now. But I don't know what show you're talking about, so I can't talk about them. So
there's more than one. So
Just know if I knew,
But
I would say that name.
hey, I'm gonna do like this. I'm gonna say this clearly. I think that's the perfect way of looking at it, Nate. When you're doing it on this kind of platform, you got to
Oh,
be able to point it out. Because I feel the same way in football and basketball. You can be for your team. You got to be real though. Please, let's understand. I'm a Yankee fan. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, but what Nate is saying is absolutely correct. You have to be able to see where all the truths lie when it comes down to the whole part of the game. And every part of the game you got to see. It's not just the hitting and it's not just this one time little stand they take. All season long, you got to look at all these players and you got to be able to say, I can balance this out based on what we see. Other than these crazy ass postseason and regular season stuff, if it was going by what we've seen in the regular season, you got to do the right thing and pick out the team that's been better. So I feel you, Nate. Don't worry. I'm with you. I'm gonna give you the because you know it as far as baseball is concerned. Because I do the same thing on basketball and football. I'll do the same thing. I'm a Dallas Cowboy and a LA Laker homer, but I know my teams well enough to understand that they hold on now. There's a couple better teams in our division, and this is why. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to understand that that's how the game is played. So I'm with you. Okay, Detroit, huh?
And
I'm with you.
of course, I will give different predictions once these series are over. That won't mean I change my mind. Like, oh, I went with this team the whole time. But once we get to the pennant, if it's two different teams, if it's four different teams in there by the time we get to the pennant, I'll give you my prediction on that. But I'm just telling from what I see right now and how it's going.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Toronto, Toronto, it was and it's tougher. I'm not gonna lie. As a Yankee fan, it was tough. It was tough for me to go against Toronto.
Yeah,
I
you
just feel
see,
like the
because
Yankees are,
you've seen them, you know what they're about, right?
but I feel like the Yankees are really starting to get they're really starting to get their stride now. So
Hey, no,
a
that's
lot of
not
that,
what you wanted to say, Nate. Say it. They started to
but
get
see,
what?
a
Their
lot
shit.
their stride, but a lot of that is
They
going to
get their
depend
shit
on
together. Let's get their
how
shit
Aaron
together.
Boone coaches this, how Aaron Boone coaches the rotation. That's going to be a big part. Is how he coaches this team. That's going to determine what the Yankees do. Remember, yes, they went to the World Series last year, but they're still not the full team that they were last year as well. You two or three people have changed, yes, and you've been able to kind of fill those positions where it's not that big of a miss. But does the Yankee team of this year still have the same drive and motivation that last year's team had? Now you got guys like Ryan McMahon, who Jay, I noticed you didn't play that highlight, but
what highlight?
made a made a great play when he dived over the
Over
third
the fence, right? Oh, yeah,
the,
third base side, and he
the
made the foul
Boston
catch.
dugout.
I didn't get
Yeah.
But
that. I didn't see that one. Let me see.
Oh, that's in there. I think that's like
but
they're the last ones.
but he's the guy who, you remember, he was playing on the worst team in the league earlier this season with the Colorado Rockies, and then got traded to the New York Yankees.
All I ever needed was a chance.
He got something to play for. Paul Goldschmidt, a guy who's played with big teams, but this might be his last chance at a World Series championship. Cody Bellinger, who played on the championship team as well. He's played with the Dodgers for a long time too. And he was part of some of them Dodger teams that didn't win, that played up against Houston, that played up against the Boston Red Sox. And he's looking at it like this could be his last run or one of his near last runs.
And wouldn't
So
that be a last run on a Yankee team? Everybody wants that run too. That is the magical run to actually be on a Yankee team that can win a championship. Bro, I'm telling you, anybody that's in Major League Baseball would want that dream. That's the thought too. I agree. Yeah, they're playing out for a lot of stakes here and for a lot of things.
so it's going to be an interesting season going along.
Hmm.
I thank Jay for the videos that he shared and the highlights. Um, and last we're going to talk about the same don't like the normal show. I'm gonna say the shining stars for this is every player that made the playoffs. That's the shining stars. I'm not going to label it down to one two players. It's going to be the entire roster of teams that are still in the playoffs. Um, Also, what we got news as far as news, I can read it all to you. Couple coaches have been released. Ron Washington, starting off with the Los Angeles Angels. He went unfortunately, Ron Washington, as you know, he had some health conditions. He stepped out this season. The team was 36-38 before he left. Brian Montgomery took over for that team. He went 36-52 the rest of the season. He was the bench coach since 2022. Ron Washington was 63-99 last year when he started over to take over for the Angels. He really got that team going along. The team started to play. They started to play better. Even when he lost Mike Trout, he was able to will that team. They were a competitive team. Like I said, they're only 2 games under 500 before he went out with his health issues. I don't think, me personally, I don't think Ron Washington. I think this is the end for Ron Washington as far as coaching. I think he's gonna step down at his age. You know, health. It could be a lot of things. You know, stress, whatever the case might be. So I think he's gonna step down. They do have candidates right now for the Angels that they are talking about right now. Former Angels Torrey Hunter and Albert Pujols are some of their running candidates to be the next head coach out there in Anaheim.
Okay.
Next up, we got the San Francisco Giants with Bob Melvin. He's been a manager for 22 years. They finished the season at 500 this year, 3 games back of the final wild card spot. In the 2 seasons he was with the Giants, they went 161 and 163, so 2 games in the 500. Buster Posey, who's a former player there, who is a general manager, has said that he's keeping it tight, so he's not making any indication of any coaches that he's looking for, any coaches that may be on the poll to be the next coach. So we'll just have to wait and see what the Giants decide as far as their next coach. Moving on to the next piece of news, we got. I want to make sure it matches with it. Okay. Jay, I know you're not gonna like this, but Pete Alonso has opted out of that final year for his contract.
Damn, Jay, your face is twisted up like a screw, bro.
Pete Alonso, of course, he signed that small deal. You know, of course, so the Mets can make the money. The Mets can spend the money on Juan Soto. It's going to be interesting to see if he just tests in the water again, or if he really wants to see what the Mets can offer him to come back. I think he wanted to be a lifelong Met. I know Jade is not going to sound popular to you, but looking at the team, he could end up across the water. He could end up the road and riding on the 4 train. He could end up in New York.
Man, they could get that fool as a damn designated hitter. Oh
Because
my
Paul
God.
Goldschmidt is on a 1-year deal as well, so he can still play first. Ben Rice is first base and catcher, and Ben Rice shares that with Austin Wells. So it's not like Ben Rice is going to be an automatic first baseman. So it's a possibility. Some other teams that he could end up going to, he could end up in Boston. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but he could end up somewhere like there. There's going to be some options for Pete Alonso going forward. So we're going to see closely. We're going to keep a close eye on what his decisions are, and we probably won't hear a decision until sometime beginning of next year after winter meetings are done. Jay, would you like to make a comment? It's a safe. All right, moving on for the Minnesota Twins.
No comment.
Rocco Baldelli, after 6 years with the Minnesota Twins, has been fired as well. His record was 527 wins with 505 losses with the Minnesota Twins. Twins haven't named anybody in particular that they're looking for as candidates. Baldelli will possibly be open to him, as long as any of these managers I named will be options for teams that are looking for managers. You got some teams out there who have bad seasons or have fired their manager, got interns. You look at the Colorado Rockies. I know that's going to be a tough sell with them losing over 100, almost 110 plus games this season, maybe 118, I think it was. But that's going to be a tough sell for any coach to go there. You got the Chicago White Sox. You got the Baltimore Orioles, who really just need a really seasoned coach. They got the intern right now for the minor leagues, but I hope that's not. He's not the. I don't think he's the fit overall. And if the Orioles re-sign him, I would be very surprised at that. I think you got Dave Martinez again, who was fired earlier by the Washington Nationals early in the season. He's going to be an option. Joe Madden is still out there. I know he didn't coach this year, but he's going to be an option as well. So we'll see where Rocco Baldelli falls out. Then also Brian Snitker of the Atlanta Braves, because that's the last one I sent you, right, Jay? No, Bruce Bochy should be, right?
Yep.
So Bruce Bochy, long time OG player and manager. 249 wins with 237 losses with the Texas Rangers in the 2 years that he was with them, 3 years he was with them. Of course, in 2023, he got the Rangers to the World Series to win their first ever and only World Series title. He he has 4 World Series altogether, winning 3 in San Francisco in 2010, 2012, and 2014. Bochy, people were thinking that maybe Buster Posey in San Francisco was thinking about bringing him back, but I've heard that that's not going to be an option. And I think at Bochy's age now in his 70s, I think Bochy's calling it quits. I think this is his last hurrah. I think he's right there with Dusty Baker, as we're going to call it quits. Bochy only came back because Texas tried to convince him to come back, and because he was done before, and he came back, got another championship, got the Rangers their first and only championship. But I think now, I think this is the end of Bruce Bochy, and if it is the end of him, it was a great run as a career, as a manager and as a player, and we wish him well in his retirement. If this is it for him,
Yo, with a last name like Bochy, that's crazy.
and I didn't send the video for this, but I mean the picture. But Brian Schnicker from the Atlanta Braves. I'll get that. You keep that up, but I'm gonna bring this up. Brian Schnicker from the
Right.
Atlanta Braves. 9 years with the Braves, with 10 years with the Braves. He helped them to win the championship in 2021 against the Houston Astros. He had a record of 811 and 811 wins and 668 losses with an average of 548 overall. He will be transitioning to senior advisor for the Atlanta Braves. So he's not getting fired. He's getting promoted and moves on to a different position. But he still will be with the Atlanta Braves organization. So we'll see who Atlanta looks at as their next coach going forward. Now, this, I can't see it clearly, but I remember what I put up there. This is just a picture of teams with the longest drought for the last time that they made the playoffs. And as you can see, the Los Angeles Angels are the #1 team. Either Jay, you can blow it up, or you can read the first 5 teams because it's really small to me.
We got Los Angeles Angels, Pittsburgh, Colorado, Washington, the Athletics, Chicago White Sox, San Francisco. We got the Steelers. We got Arizona.
The Steelers. Wait, hold on. Okay,
I mean,
I can see it now that you zoomed up. So we
my
got
bad, St. Louis.
I
My bad.
appreciate you, Jay. The Los Angeles Angels. 11 years has been since they last been to the World Series. Scroll back up a little bit.
I've been thinking about whatchamacallit, yo.
You think about football.
I've been thinking about football. My bad.
You got the next on that list. You had the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's been 10 years since they made the playoffs. In 2015, then you got the Colorado Rockies. It's been 7 years. The Washington Nationals has been 6 years, and that's the year that they won the World Series. The Athletics, formerly known as the Oakland Athletics, it's been 5 years. The Chicago White Sox, 4 years. The San Francisco Giants, 4 years. The St. Louis Cardinals, 3 years.
You know what? I gotta say this much. At least these teams ain't dealing with some of the stuff per se as like the NFL teams are. These teams, I always hear about baseball, how you don't hear about teams ever getting a chance to go to the playoffs, blase, blase. 11 years is a lot, but if you take this on average, bruh, that's an average of 4 years per team. If you take out the highs and the lows of this, that's really not a bad percentage of these teams. How many teams are there in the league? There are 32 teams in both AL and NL. To consider that you made the playoffs and it's only been 11 years out with all these teams, that's pretty fucking competitive. All right. And a lot of people are like, well, how the hell could that be competitive? Just think about the number of seasons that if you go look at the NFL and look at some of these teams that have not won a playoff and or have been to any kind of playoff games themselves or a Super Bowl. That shit is amazing. That shit is amazing. We got 5 of them and we haven't been there in 30 years. You know what I'm saying? These guys, what you say? What's the
Who's your
Angels? That was the
who's your
NL.
team?
That was
What was your team, Unc? Who's your team? Cowboys.
the Cowboys.
Okay, 30 years.
30 years, and that's not the most. You hear what I'm saying? That's not even the most. So I think that baseball really had, they've had a lot of issues. They gone through that sport itself has gone through so many different levels of things, but it has consistently put their fan bases in a position to see postseason baseball in most of these parks in a reasonable amount of time. It ain't every year with some folks, honestly, as you can tell, you know, tied for 14th is Atlanta with 1 year out of the playoffs. And that's not half them that's not half these teams, yo. That's if you look at every division, yo, I mean, ain't nobody left out. I mean, where's Baltimore? You know what I'm saying? Is Baltimore up there? Where's
No, Baltimore made the playoffs last year.
see? And that's what I'm saying. At least you see that there's a lot of mix and match. But most of these teams in Major League Baseball do give their fans an opportunity to see postseason sports. That's not in basketball. It's not like that in football. You know what I'm saying? So I think people that like baseball, it's a harsh season. I ain't gonna lie, 162 games is utterly ridiculous. That's a lot of games. But that also gives the fans a lot of opportunities to see their favorite teams and to root them on in the season before they get to see them in a postseason. So there's a lot of give and take with that. But I think baseball is doing quite fine, being able to get the highest team that had 11 years out of the playoffs. I promise you, a lot of teams in the other two major sports would like to say that, oh, it's that low. That's great. I wish we could keep it that low, but
Well, you see
instead
another.
we're like,
I hear you. Well, you see another knock with the Angels is you remember they got one of the players that they considered one of the top 10 players for all these years, which is Mike Trout, and he hasn't even been able to stay healthy enough. So he's only been in one playoff series, and that's it.
ain't that crazy? Considering that they've had three of the greatest baseball players to ever play the game, and Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, and now Shohei Ohtani has crossed their paths. They were in their farm systems, and now it's over there overachieving in other places.
But Pujols is
Pujols came
retired.
back, and he came back. Okay, he came back to be an angel.
Yeah, and then he's retired now. Now, another fun fact: There's only five teams left in the major leagues that has not won a World Series.
I think
The
that's
old
amazing too. I think that's amazing too.
the oldest out of that five is the San Diego Padres. You also have the Milwaukee Brewers, Seattle Mariners, Tampa Bay Rays, and the
Hold
Colorado
up. See,
Rockies.
wait a minute. Wait. Milwaukee Brewers haven't won a series.
No,
Nope.
the only time they made the World Series is
When I
19.
remember when that's right. When they went,
You
that
thinking
was the
about 80?
Robin
You
Yount
thinking about
years.
82? You thinking about
That was the
82?
Robin Yount years. Yeah, bruh. Yeah, I
Right,
am.
1982, and they
Remember
lost.
when
They
they
lost
went.
that series.
Yep. Yep.
Dang.
They went, but they did not win. That's right. Wow.
And then you look at it. You look at the team that's in the
Wow.
and the team that's in the playoffs as the number two seed right now. The Seattle Mariners have never been to the World Series in general.
And consider all the crazy playoff and stuff that they're known for too. Oh, that's crazy. Another one. And again, had probably one of the greatest players ever in Ken Griffey Jr. on that team.
One
And
of the
Randy
greatest,
Johnson.
right? One
And
of the greatest
Randy
pitchers.
Johnson.
Yep, one of the greatest pitchers and hitters.
Oh, that's the amazing thing about that. I think that's what separates baseball from the other two sports, bruh. I think that's what separates it. I'm not the biggest baseball fan, But when people start talking about shit that they do, it's a little different. Baseball is a little different, bro. There's a lot. There's a lot to be commended for. Like they,
It's a
hey,
lot.
they talk about it because of the juicing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna have to give it to these players, yo. I just think that if you've played this game, you know that it's gonna take a little bit more than somebody shooting you with a needle in your butt to fucking make you a way better player that we've seen. I've met Jose Canseco. That's a big man. And I can imagine him bashing baseballs over the fence. I could imagine how big Mark McGuire was when he played, how big Sammy Sosa was when he played. I met Dave Winfield. Dave Winfield was 6'8" in his socks. That was a big ass man. Dave Winfield was big, bruh. I'm talking. I saw Dave Parker. Now just went into the Hall of Fame. I seen him. Dave Parker was 6'5", bruh. He was a big man. Willie Stargell was a big man. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear about Barry Bonds, when I hear about how they, are waxing and melting, and the rest of these players that we're seeing, and these cats are amazing. And you know what makes it even more amazing is that Jose Altuve is 5'5" and as bad as a motherfucker that he is. You see what I'm saying? That dude that's a small dude, and that dude can crank a baseball over the fence, bruh. Crank. So
Yeah,
shout out.
last time I swung the bat, you know what I'm saying? I cranked out a little 532, 532 yards.
You said 102. I don't think I got enough beer for that, Jay.
I'm just saying though, you're right.
I don't
All right,
think
all
I
right. It was
got
like
enough
five,
beer.
it was
I
like
don't know. I ain't got
530.
enough beer.
It was
5:30.
like 530.
Okay.
My
Okay.
bad. I added an extra 2 yards. My bad. 530.
God damn, son.
Yeah, that's what
Was
I
that a
think.
base? Was that a baseball or a softball?
Oh no. It was a handball. It was a handball. A handball and an aluminum bat.
I hear that. They say bounced it off the concrete one time and bashed that shit. Bye.
Exactly. So, listen, self pitch.
Whole, yep. Yep, there you go, AJ. One whole block. That's what you got. How'd I
Exactly.
measure it? We was down at the manhole on 4th, and I hit that thing, and it didn't bounce until it hit the stop sign on 5th. That's a whole
Exactly.
block. 520. With AJ 530 on the
530.
dot.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I do.
It bounced. How do you know it hit there? I seen it when it hit the car going up the one-way street the other way.
Word.
Booyah.
Easy. But
Easy, but I wish easy.
yeah, that's what's up. Even though I am still hurt about my Mets not being in the playoffs and
Be
whatnot.
alright. You'll be alright.
Yeah, I'm tighten up. I'm tighten up. I'm a soldier. I'm down with the man cave, kid. I'm a soldier. I think this postseason is gonna be pretty good. You know what I'm saying? These matchups coming into the next round. It'll be interesting. I still don't believe how Nate went against the Yankees. I don't think that you're a real Yankee fan anymore, Nate. But hey, if you want to consider yourself one, then by all means, go ahead.
Hey
I
Jay,
just
hey
know that
Jay, he's doing it for the business, yo. You can't be a good podcaster if you can't be non-biased. Good job, Nate.
Jay
When
said,
we
"Hell with
turn it
that."
off, when they turn it off, Nate, you be like, fuck all them teams. There you go. I say it for you
listen,
now. Fuck all them teams. Fuck 'em all.
I'm not privy to any type of Met slander. Like my man wanna retire early, pack him up, get him out of here, bro. Get him out
Who's
of here.
retiring? Who's
He
retiring
ain't
early?
retiring, man.
He going to
What?
free agency. He going
He's
to
just trying
free
to get paid.
agency.
Hey, listen. Let him retire. Retire him. Pack him up. Get him out of here, yo.
Yo,
Your
you
man,
better start
your
tripping on
man,
Pete.
your man
PDO, boy.
Soto. Your man
Pete
Soto was over
Alonso.
there talking smack, yo. Pack him up. Get him out of there, bro. Give my money back, son. Give us our ones back. Pack them up nice and neat.
Ship him on out of there. Ship on up out of there.
Yo, who had that? Yo, what was the team that had the worst record in this year? They won like 4 games.
They didn't win 4 games, but you talking about the Colorado Rockies?
Yeah, they won like 4 games, bro.
No, they did. How many games they
Yo,
won?
they had
won
They won. They legit won 4 games. The team owners had a meeting. They was like, "Yo, let my team win a couple of more. Yo, we struggling out here, bro." They got mercy game. Send my boy over there. Send both of them bums since they want to leave New York and they want to talk smack about the Mets. Get him out of here, son. He's out. You know what I mean?
Ship him out of here. Ship their ass out of here.
Quick, fast, in a hurry.
Fuck the label. He said, "Fuck the labels. Put a stamp on that bitch and get him out."
Immediate.
So, ladies and gentlemen, to be politically correct, the Colorado Rockies record was 43 wins and 119 losses.
God damn.
Yeah, they got 4 wins, bro. I'm telling you, the other 30 and change was extra. They just, the owners spoke to somebody. It was like, "Yo, I'll give you, matter of fact, I'll give you 500,000 if you let my team win. I'll give you our first round draft pick." You know what I mean? Like, he was giving away mad stuff, son.
Crazy.
I'm telling you. A couple of people got a Bobby Bonilla check this year.
You
A
could
couple
go
of
down
owners got
the
an Bobby Bonilla.
you could go down the slide.
But like, don't worry. I'm gonna tell the owner, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell the manager. I'm gonna tell the manager and the coach to sit out our best players so this way y'all get a win. He don't have a fake injury. Give me that 100,000 because you know, and just chill. Yeah, they lost. They only won 4 games. They lost the rest of them.
That's crazy business.
You know
Boy,
what I'm saying?
crazy. That's crazy business right there, Jay.
Like, imagine,
real crazy.
Yo, imagine showing up to work every day and you fail 119 times. Yo, that's crazy. Like,
and
you
get paid and get paid for get paid. Them motherfuckers got multi-million-dollar
like,
contracts.
you lost matter of fact, I swear there would be no sunflower seeds in the dugout, no Gatorade. Y'all are drinking straight water. Word up. Matter of fact, you're not even getting cushions on your seat, bro.
Wait, Jay. Don't do them like that because it can't be in the bottle. Make sure you run a hose that's connected to the fucking shower drain so that it can get the water from the faucet.
Oh,
Make
nah,
sure that it comes from
they
out of
getting
there.
well water, bro. They getting well water.
Get that water from the
Yeah.
barrel. It stays cold.
Nah,
They'll always have a refreshing drink. Golly, that's wild.
Matter of fact, I'm paying y'all all this money and y'all can't win. You better buy soda from the concession stand.
Ooh. That's madness. That's madness.
Hey, they be all right. But Nate, you know I can keep on going on my baseball slander. Is there any other postseason news that you would like to share with us, tell us, or we need to know anything involved with baseball?
Last thing, most of y'all ain't doing nothing tomorrow. Cubs and Brewers, 1:08 p.m. TBS HBO Max, followed by the Yankees at 3:08 p.m. on Fox. Yankees and Blue Jays. 5:38 p.m. on TBS HBO Max. You got the Dodgers against the Phillies, and you got the Tigers and the Mariners at 7:38 on FS1.
Nice. Appreciate that. Yo,
Tune
like
in
I
on Saturday. I know it's college football, but you can go back and forth. I understand Sundays is dedicated to NFL, so I'm not going to try to intrude on that. But if your team start get blown out, you can go ahead and turn the TV a little bit and check out a little bit of baseball playoffs.
Hey, man, plus, like you said, it's still the regular season in football, so watch the baseball playoffs, man. It's the best thing to watch, yo. But, yo, We just want to say thank you to everybody who tapped in, tuned in tonight to the season 2, episode 1 of MLB with Nate the Great. D Rigger, aka Unc, we just want to say thank you for tuning in, joining us with the show. You already know I was going to be a little bit heartbroken because the Mets ain't in the playoffs. So thank you for holding the fort down with us. Don't forget tomorrow, y'all. We have the other podcast that we do, the Virtual Man Cave podcast, with the whole crew. It is me, myself, Model Citizen J, Nate the Great, D Rigger, aka Unc, Leo the superhero, Troy the chef, and we can't forget about the Panamanian professor, Arthur Sobers. And every once in a while, we get a good visit by our good brother Corey the Mayor, yo. And that is tomorrow at about 10:30-ish. Eastern Standard Time because Nate's in the West Coast, so that'll be 9:30 for you guys. Okay, he's earlier than us. He's in the West. West Side. And don't forget that D Rigger, you know what I'm saying, aka Triple OG OG. You know what I'm saying? He has his podcast that we do every Monday at about, you know what I'm saying, about 8:30, 9 o'clock ish. Just tap in and tune in, but you'll always stay up to date and you'll always know what's going on if you hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, like, leave a comment, and tell a friend to do the same thing, yo. Before we get up out of here, though, Nate, what you got to say to the people, yo?
Just keep striving.
And keep
striving in life. Yeah, that's it. Keep striving.
Yo, you look like you about to say power to the people right there in the pose that you got. So, what you got? What words of wisdom you got for the folks tonight?
Yo, it's freedom and death or freedom and speech. We gotta fight the powers that be.
Hey, as for me, yo, listen, don't call yourself a true fan and then you start rooting for the other team. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
That was crazy tonight. I know I usually have something better, you know what I'm saying, some philosophical food for thought, but I thought I'd never see the day where somebody will be wearing a jersey and don't even think their team is going to the playoff. I mean, going to the championships. That's wild, Joe. Wow. But again, we appreciate y'all, man. Love is love. We see y'all next week, yo. We out of here, family. Peace.